It's hump day.
Hump day!
It's hump day.
Hump day!
All right, welcome everybody to Hump Day Hangouts. Today is the 8th of June, and this is Hump Day Hangouts 83. We are chugging right along. Every time I see it in the 80s, even though it's once a week, I'm like, all right, we're getting close to 100, but it's going to be a little bit. Let's go down the line and say hello. So we'll start with Chris. How you doing, Chris?
Doing excellent. How are you?
Good deal, good deal. Hernan, what's up, man?
Hey guys, hey everyone. It's really good to be here.
So it's now progressed from sweater to sweatshirt with a hood weather. So is it getting colder down there? Or?
Getting colder. You won't see me at some point. You won't even see.
Speaking of weather, Marco, how's it going?
Nice and warm, man. About to get some rains in, so I probably won't be able to participate in Hangouts, but you know, that's how it goes.
Okay, we got a comment saying that nobody could be heard. You guys can't be heard on Facebook Live. I know you didn't introduce me yet, sorry, but I had to jump in. We're trying an experiment, guys. We're trying to do Facebook Live broadcast at the same time that we're doing the Hump Day Hangout, but it's weird because my mobile device is like pointed directly at me and showing just my face, so nobody can see the screen, and apparently other people can't hear you guys when you talk. So, anyways, that's some behind-the-scenes stuff. Hey, guys, everybody.
How Bradley's doing. So. Well, let's just go through. I got a couple announcements real quick, and then we'll get rolling. So, the first one I wanted to share was if you're in IFTTT SEO Academy 2.0, we wanted to let you know you can submit your video case studies and share the results. I'm going to put the URL in here, or if Hernan, if you've got that handy, I actually think I chopped it off when I copied it. But we just wanted to let you guys know that there's some opportunities there for some pretty cool stuff. We're going to say that. But so V2 members, you got the opportunity there to get some awesome stuff, and we'll be talking more about that. So Hernan, I'll drop the link if you're in there. By all means, go check it out. And all we're looking for is some short videos. You know, good quality, guys. Don't be, you know, doing some selfie, you know, 240p resolution stuff. But I mean, it doesn't have to be professional recording quality, right? About 2 minutes, maybe 2 to 10 minutes. And you know, there's a variety of stuff you can do. So what we're doing basically, though, in a nutshell, is we're going to be going through and choosing the best each month for a free month of the MasterMind access. Okay, so pretty cool stuff. Chuck Norris approved. All right. And then one other one. So this is for everybody, whether you're a member of our groups or not. Just if you're available and you're paying attention during I believe the 20th to the 29th. Of June, we're going to be having a contest that we'll be talking more about next week, but just keep your eyes and ears open for that. We're going to be giving away some awesome prizes, including yearly access to some of our memberships, as well as some cool, well, they're freedom journals. And I don't know, Hernan, what you'd want to describe them as, like kind of personal accelerator type of books, like
yeah, you could say so. Yeah, it's kind of something that will allow you to, let's put it this way, to achieve your objectives faster and keep you on track. It's a 100-day journal, so I think it's pretty cool. And we're giving away that with a bunch of other goodies, so stay tuned because it's going to be good. Awesome.
Cool. Yeah, and I've got them. I'll have to post a picture soon. I've got them. They're actually sitting in a box in the closet right now. It's kind of sad, but I've got one on my desk. So, all right, that's all I've got. Do you guys got anything?
No, as far as I know, we can get into questions.
All right. Well, I was going to say, I guess it's too late, but I'll go ahead and say it. If you missed out on the presentation of the webinar Marco did on Monday, that was awesome. And then we did end up having a replay up for 24 hours, but I guess I think that's probably over by now. So.
Yeah. Well, we might end up opening up those webinars again, and if we polish them up and package them properly, but we haven't decided that yet. So if we do, we'll make sure we let you guys know.
Awesome. All right, let's get to it.
Let's get into it. All right, I'm going to grab the screen and lock it onto me. Make sure you guys are seeing everything all right. Are we good?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so here we go. Mark O'Connell. There's a big photo here. I'm not sure why.
I like to think that that's an introduction without any words.
Well,
just
Hey. Hi. All right. Mark O'Connell says, "Hi guys. First, big thank you to Marco for the wonderful information given on Monday. Really enjoyed it. I'll +1 that. My question is, let's say I have a domain plumbersnearme.com and I have one like this, but not for plumbers. Is that over optimized? This is now a keyword. I mean, industry near me. No, not really. Not really. It would be if you had a city name in there, but having plumbers in there, that's pretty standard. That's normal. I mean, think about it. I know you said it's not plumbers, but I'm just saying this is an example. A lot of businesses will use what industry they're in as part of their brand name, so that's not abnormal at all. Okay, or over optimized. And if I subdomain out per city, okay, london.plumbersnearme.com, manchester.plumbersnearme.com, can I have the business name as London Plumbers Near Me for a Google Maps listing under the same route, but subdomain cities out to target other areas, or should I just use a completely separate domain? Let's see, Manchester Plumbers.me. That would be same route, but subdomain cities out to target other areas. Yeah, I would just use different subdomains on the same domain, the same route. Am I reading that question wrong? Is he just asking about should he keep building out on the same domain, or is he asking about? I think that's what the question is, Mark. If I'm misunderstanding the question, please forgive me. But it seems like you're asking, should you continue building out cities on the same domain, or use different domains entirely? I would say keep building out cities on the same domain.
Yeah, I read it the same way, Bradley. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right. He says, and if I can be cheeky and ask one more quick one, do you ever have videos on page 1 with no thumbnail? Yes, it happens often. I have one here with just a black screen. Yes, that's been a kind of a glitch. It's been going on for a few months. But for another keyword, the same video on page 2 shows my thumbnail. Very weird. Is there a way to fix this? No, it's as far as I know, there's no way to fix it. It's just an anomaly with Google's algorithm. I know some videos will show with a black thumbnail for some reason, and it's odd because sometimes they'll show with a black thumbnail, then other times they'll show with the actual thumbnail. It's kind of hit or miss. Some keywords show it, some don't. So I'm not sure what's causing it, but I do not know how to fix it. I believe it's just a glitch with Google, so they're going to have to fix it. All right. I've also had videos that index, but no thumbnail shows. Like, I mean, not even a placeholder, like the black placeholder that you're talking about. I've had videos index, but it looks like just a regular text listing, and that's weird too. So, okay, Ed says, "Hey guys, with regard to the new Bitly profile link, Ed, I read your question earlier. I'm assuming you're not in IFTTT V2 or SEO Academy V2, because if you were, we did a update webinar on Bitly already, and go check the update section of the members area, and there's a video about that. There's a video in the update section as well as during the update webinar that we did. So there's actually, it's been mentioned twice already. Bitly sunsetted their public profile pages, guys. It's not a big deal. I mean, it just means you just don't add a Bitly profile link in with all your other links when you're interlinking properties. That's all. You still use Bitly. Excuse me. You just don't have a profile link anymore. That's all.
Right. And what I wanted to add to that is that Bitly will still turn your 301s into 302s if you spam them. That's still the case. So we have been advising time and time again, if you're doing some advanced stuff like 301, 301s and spam and those kind of things, do not use Bitly, because Bitly will turn your 301s into 302s, and all of your link building will be pointless. So at that point, I wouldn't use Bitly for if you're building tier links or something like that, just because they will still show that spam notice. Whatever it is. So.
Yeah, but what's interesting is Bitly will do that too, like arbitrarily. Like, it's weird. Yep. Sometimes without even spamming a Bitly link, it will add a spam attribute. And basically just makes it a 302 link. And sometimes, like, it could be the cleanest, most pristine link that you've never done anything questionable with, and they'll still sometimes just add a spam tag to it. And I don't know why that is. So just keep that in mind.
Yep.
Okay. All right, next question. R. Bacon says, just purchased the Authority Sniper. Was wondering if there was any precautions I should take with regard to the Feedburner, since that is connected to Google. I don't think so, but you can add multiple accounts to it. So if you are worried about it, I mean, the way that I typically do things is that I have persona accounts anyways that are themed. So if I'm going to be creating a feed about plumbing, then I'm going to pick the persona account that's a plumber. You know what I mean? And so all of the Feedburner feeds that I create, or it could be a bit broader, it could be home improvement related or whatever, but that persona's account that I'm going to be using is most likely been already themed around that particular topic or niche. So I mean, again, you can add multiple Google accounts to it. So that's what I would do, is just grab one of your persona accounts from one of your IFTTT networks, or a few of them, and kind of theme them, and make sure you label them properly in your RSS Authority Sniper software, so that you know what they are when you go to select them. Okay. Lori says, hi everyone, we have a potential client asking for help with their website. They have a domain name that redirects to, okay, an e-commerce site. It has no capability of a blog, so it is very thin with content, short of a paid advertising campaign. Do they have any suggestions? Thanks so much. Let's see, they have a domain name that redirects. Yeah, well, if they have a domain name, sure, you can put a subdomain on that domain and install WordPress and use that as a blog, Lori. Even if the domain itself redirects, I'm assuming it's probably a masked redirect. In other words, when it redirects to that URL that you're listing here, it's probably still showing their domain name. Am I right? I mean, I know. I'm assuming that that's the way that it is. It is that it might redirect, but it's a masked redirect. And if that's the case, you could just put a subdomain on. You'd have to use a DNS mapping service like Amazon Route 53 or Cloudflare or something like that. But you could create a subdomain and point that to a regular hosting account, and then put WordPress on the subdomain and just use that as your content distribution engine, your blog essentially. So it could be blog.yourclientsdomain.com. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then you just put a link. I know some people get confused when they're thinking about this and get lost in the subdomain part. You just put and then be sure put a link on that on your site somewhere, like, hey, this is our blog or news or whatever.
That's right.
It's over there.
If you guys look at that URL, it's already on a subdomain, home.domain.com. So all they have to do is add blog.domain.com and use the blog as the content driver to rank. We've done that before, to rank the content on the main domain, since it's content thin anyway, or to rank the products and services or whatever's being offered. We do that all the time.
I think the thing is that it's an e-commerce solution, so I'm not sure that she has access to add a subdomain to this. If she does, yeah, absolutely. Then just put like blog dot whatever. But if you don't, if you're using your own custom domain and it just redirects to this because you don't have access to control this, then you could still just create a subdomain on your root domain and just map it over to a regular hosting account and then install WordPress there.
Right.
And again, that's just going under the assumption that if you have a custom domain and it redirects to here, it's probably masked, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I did for a client. They were having something like Volution or something as their main e-commerce website, and their main e-commerce was out of my hosting. So we hired another hosting just for the blog, because it was like Shopify. The main domain was masked to the Volution platform. So we have to, via DNS, we had to open a blog.domain.com and start blogging over there. So it was it was an extra step that you need to take, Lori, because WordPress, and it would take a ton of time for you. On this case, you do not even have a blog capability, but in case some other clients come with another e-commerce project like Magento or whatever, Shopify, etc. It takes us a ton of time to learn WordPress, so it will be always better to work with that. Otherwise it's not worth it, or they need to pay a ton of money. Right?
It is. I mean, that's like when I get any client that has on a custom web platform, and they ask me, would I be willing to optimize? I tell them no. Like, I tell them flat out, like, I'll provide consulting services that I can give instructions to your webmaster to do it, but I'm not going to learn a new platform for one client unless like there's no way they're going to pay me enough to do that. Right. So okay, Brian Dunn says your roadmap doesn't include RYS for people who are already monetized and have some industry knowledge but want to go ninja school to seriously up their game. but you can only pay for either RYS or MasterMind. Can you walk through why you might choose one versus the other? Great question, Brian. I would say go with MasterMind, and the reason why I would say go with MasterMind is because, number one, if you join MasterMind, when you are ready to purchase RYS, you get a 30% discount. So that's substantial, number one. Number two, MasterMind, we are constantly, every 2 weeks we hold a webinar. It's the community where you have access to us and my team members as well as all the other SEO professionals in the group. So there's a lot of discussions that go on, a lot of people sharing great information, results, that kind of thing. Not that RYS doesn't have that kind of an aspect like that as well, but RYS is like one specific part of SEO, whereas MasterMind covers so much, and there's bits and pieces of RYS sprinkled throughout the MasterMind as well. So again, I would recommend going with the MasterMind because that's going to give you a foundation that you can build upon, and then when you're ready to join RYS, you also get the 30% discount, as well as you get all the other stuff that we have included in the MasterMind membership that's under $300, like IFTTT SEO Academy V2, Masterclass. You get to attend all those webinars and access to the members area for that. That's all included in MasterMind, as well as all of our other products that are under $300, you get those included. Any of our products that are over $300, you get a 30% discount on. And you guys also, as MasterMind members, get first access to products when we launch, first access to services. You get to be beta testers. You get review copies of stuff before we launch. I mean, there's a lot of benefits. So, does anybody else want to sell him on MasterMind also?
No, I was about to say that as a disclaimer, the discount doesn't include services like
training only.
Yeah, only training. Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that I would add is, like, if you have a 22 caliber pistol, right, and a 50 caliber pistol, they're both guns, and you can shoot with both, right? But shooting a 50 caliber is so much fun, man.
Yeah.
I mean, one's a pea shooter, and the other one, like, you can watch stuff blow up. So come on over to the dark side when you're ready.
Yeah, and again, I mean, look, RYS is awesome. There's no question. But the reason I would recommend MasterMind is because of all the additional benefits that come with that, and you get the discount on RYS at a later date. So my point, or whenever you're ready, you get the discount immediately, but you can purchase it whenever. So. No,
and I agree anyway, because he has not only everything that you mentioned, but the members of Master, or the partners of MasterMind, are constantly in the community, and we're always providing guidance or answering questions and just taking care of the community as best as we can. So you also get that benefit.
Jenny says, "Afternoon, gentlemen. Thank you all for your hard work in these Hangouts. I will +1 that. What do you guys use for SEO task management? Any favorite apps or workflow for outsourcers and the like?" Oh, Adam's pinging me. Cameraman. Oh, sorry. I got distracted with Facebook Live this time, guys. Okay, so now it should be a bigger video. Okay, SEO task management. No, you know what? I've always used, well, for a long time now, about 2 years now, I've been using Trello for training. But recently, within about the last 4 or 5 weeks now, I've been using an app called Flow, which is like, I should show a demonstration of it real quick. It's freaking fabulous. It's going to be highlighted in that new training course that's launching at the end of this month called Outsource Kingpin. We're talking about that a lot, but I've been using, it's not necessarily an SEO task management tool. It's a workforce management app, and it's really, really cool. And the reason why is any of you that haven't done Trello yet, haven't used Trello, I think it's great for training, like when you're creating working procedures for specific tasks. Okay, and if you guys aren't familiar with what I mean by working procedures, that's where you take a task and you document how to do it, both in video and with written out or documented steps, like linear steps, step by step, step 1, step 2, step 3, in order to complete that task. And so with Trello, I would put tasks into Trello boards that would have the step-by-step process. But it was hard to organize the tasks into higher-level projects. At least I found it difficult to. So I find Trello to be awesome for just teaching the working procedures for a particular task. Does that make sense? However, Flow, let me the screen is grabbed. Let me show this to you guys real quick. It's I think it's called getflow.com is the name of the. It's a paid app, though. That's the difference, just so you guys know. Oops. Let's go here. I'll log in and just show you guys. I started using this about 4 or 5 weeks ago with one of the teams that I'm working on, the ATM site building team. And let me show you guys what this looks like, why I like this so much. Because this is like a combination of Trello along with Slack, the chat app, which we use for Semantic Mastery anyways. My partners and I, we're always chatting in Slack. Well, Slack is the developer of this, so everything like integrates. And they also have a time tracking software. It's called Harvest, or getharvest.com, that integrates with this as well, so you can start to actually track the process, the amount of time spent on each task. Like when you start to build an outsourcing team, you can monitor how much time is being assigned or is being spent on every task. And so there you can see who's being more efficient than others, and then you can go and ask, why are why is it taking you twice as long to do something as it is somebody else? Is there something that you don't understand? Do you need some additional tools or whatever? So anyways, this is the app, guys. If you take a look at this, like here's the team that I've been working on, or what they call workspaces. This is ATM site building, and you can see over here some of the projects that we work on. But what I like about this is, for example, if I look at the campaign review, if I come up here and change the view to Kanban, the Kanban view version is the same as Trello. Any of you have seen any me talk about Trello at all before? I always set Trello up this way. This is a technique that I actually learned from Peter Garrity. But that's create these lists: to do, doing, done, and needs attention. So when a VA comes in this case the team leader, this is Hazel, our team leader for this particular team, when she comes in, she grabs this card, which is a task, and drops it in here and then to doing, and then she opens it up and it shows all the tasks that need to be completed, all the what they call subtasks, that she can go right on down the line and check it off. And then when she's done, she puts it in the done list. If something happens and she's unable to complete the entire task, and let's say that she gets down to this point and she gets stuck, then she can drag this over to needs attention, and I'm subscribed to this board, so that when something gets dumped into the needs attention list, I get notified of it, and I can come open it up, and she can actually leave a comment if she wants in the actual task. Let me close this and you'll see it. She can leave comments and say why she had to stop at that particular subtask, and then I can go resolve the issue for her, give her assistance, whatever, and then drag it back over to do once I've resolved the issue, and she can bring it back to and work on it again. So this isn't necessarily an SEO-specific work management app, and hopefully, Jenny, that you weren't asking specifically about an SEO management app, but this one itself, I think, is Flow is really, really cool. It is paid app. Trello is free, but Trello, I think, is much more difficult to organize stuff into more general projects. So where you combine multiple tasks into overall projects or procedures, does that make sense? And then this one, I find to be a lot more have a lot more functionality, if that makes sense. So I don't know. Hopefully you guys found this interesting. I'm going to be transitioning, trying to bring in most of all my working procedures into the Flow and using it. We're paying for it right now. It's like, I don't know, it's like $59 a month, I think, for up to 10 team members, or 10 sub accounts or whatever it is. So it's very valuable though, guys. I found this to be one of the easiest ways to manage a team, and I just started using it like 4 or 5 weeks ago. So.
What's good about this is that you can, it's not exclusively for SEO, and it will help you a ton.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been using Trello for a while now, but what's good about this kind of project management or task management is that you will need to go through the hard work of actually splicing or kind of dividing your main task into little tasks for your VAs. You know what I mean? That's what we did with V2, etc. So I think this goes like the two-way. Like it will allow you to actually manage your projects, but it will allow you to actually be more like picky, I would say, with the tasks that you're giving to your VAs, which I think is great.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, what's cool, like I said, in here is they got a chat app. You can create chat rooms and assign specific people to it. You can assign workers, team members. Again, it will integrate with Harvest. Harvest is this. Like, I'm only pitching this, guys, because I think it's such a good program. This is the other thing. And those of you that are starting to build out teams, This is something that's going to be. I'm working on building out the management procedures right now with Hazel. But as soon as I'm done working with her and building these out, then I'm going to work on bringing the individual builders, which are her subordinates, the people that she manages. We're going to bring all their tasks into here and have it set up in a hierarchy, and that's when we're going to install this Harvest right here, which is the time tracking app that integrates with it. And that way we can start to identify from our workers who's being the most productive and people that aren't being as productive, why. We can address that. We can make sure that they're clocking in every day. They're giving us 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 40 hours a week basically, all of this. And so again, this is something that we're going to be integrating into our system. Up until now, I've done everything using just Trello and Google Docs. And that's pretty much it. So, okay, good question. Next one. Chris says, question submitted via support desk. Customer prefers not to disclose their name. If you lived in Buffalo and were going to create a Buffalo Home Services network of sites doing everything from landscaping to home repair, and you were going to be starting from scratch and using RYS IFTTT to build it all, would you blatantly claim the relationship between the sites and their connection to the parent VHS network, so you are 100 publicly claiming everything about how they're related? Or do you see that as just being way too risky? Or is there some other reason you wouldn't even think of doing that? If you were just going to out claim it and also have a spare LLC laying around, would just use that LLC to do it, even if it's even more legit, and use that single business to create all the pages, YouTube channel, and everything from all the different home trades? If not, which persona or approach would you take? Okay, it's a bit of an involved question. I would have to think about that. I mean, I don't see a problem with having a consistent brand across all of them. However, I would try to limit my risk in a way such as be building out sites on subdomains and such, so that I could separate liability, my exposure, in other words, in case any one of my sites were to get hit. So here's my point. If I was going to, like, say Buffalo Home Services, maybe I would call it like bhs.com or Buffalo, services.com or something like that, right? Let's just go with that. Let's say that you were going to go with that. Then I would build out maybe industry-specific subdomains, right? We already know that the site is going to cover just the Buffalo area. You've got that in the root domain, so that's pretty apparent. So what I would do is probably do like, landscaping, plumbing, HVAC, all of those would each be individual subdomains. And the only reason I say that, instead of putting it all on one site, you could put it all on one site, just so you know. If you were going to do that, then it would be all the same brand anyways. You wouldn't have anything to do about linking out different sites and things like that, right? It would all be the same site. However, and that's perfectly okay. You'd want to silo the site out that way too. But if you were to ever do anything that Google didn't like, then they slap your site, you're going to lose all of it, right? And so you got to keep that in mind. So what I would probably do is build it out on one domain. Oh, I mean, I understand you're asking, should you be using different domains? Personally, no. I would try to build that as a brand, potentially. The Buffalo Home Services is a brand, so why not build everything out on subdomains of that root site? The root site could then be like a billboard for your brand. In other words, it's like an online brochure. It explains what Buffalo Home Service is, what your vision is, what kind of service you're trying to provide to the area, and then from there it could actually link to the the subdomain sites as a kind of a directory. Does that make sense? Like, yep. The root domain would be almost like an index page, and then all of your subdomain sites would be covered. Now from there you could, the only reason why I would do that was so that you, in case any one of your sites were to get hit for something, it wouldn't affect all the other ones. You know what I mean? Like, if your HVAC site got hit with a penalty for some reason, then your plumbing site should be fine. It shouldn't be affected. So, how would you do it, Hernan?
Yeah, definitely. I would go the subdomain route. I think it was Marco who shared that Viper Chill, and I'll see if I can find it. The Viper Chill post. It was like 16 companies own, like, I don't know, probably the first page of Google, and they are blatantly related. Those are called money block networks instead of private block networks. Those are called like that. And there are a bunch of cases where you have even different domains, like different domains, all under the same IP, like on the same server, and Google does not penalize them, and they are all interlinked. So I think that as long as you are, as long as you are honest with your with your clients, etc., and you're telling them, hey, we are part of these networks, you should be fine. I mean, you're open, you're out there, and you're actually owning your content, which is, what we have been preaching all of this time. But I would definitely go the subdomain route, just in terms of protection and to actually leverage your own SEO efforts. Because if you do like landscaping.bhs.com and then you do home repair will be easier to rank than landscaping, and so the subsequent domains because of domain authority, etc. So I think that would be the best way to go.
I also.
Go ahead, Marco. Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
went over this on Monday. You validate the entity, right? That's why all these people can get away with it. All of these other big companies. The difference between those and private blog networks is entity creation. They validate it. We don't. And that's where we get in trouble.
Well, and that's what I was saying about, I would be trying to build that as a brand. Buffalo Home Services, because guys, brands are rewarded, and in part because they're validated entities, which is what Marco was just saying. I mean that's in part why they get rewarded, because they're semantic validated entities, So that's part of it. So that's why I would say go ahead and claim it. As far as the LLC, that's up to you. That's more of a business call as to whether or not you'd want to have. If you're going to be building out a large network of sites all around that particular brand, then it would make sense to have a separate entity specifically for that business, for Buffalo Home Services. I mean, for example, guys, you guys know I run a ton of lead gen sites. I run everything under my main corporation, though, my local market consulting business, and I just use. I've got some DBAs. I got to be honest, some of them I don't have DBAs for, but some of them I have DBAs for. However, like one of my clients is a particular contractor that I've got a bunch of sites for him all over the place. And that's under a particular brand. I think in retrospect, I probably should have. We probably should have created a separate corporation for that, because I do a ton of lead gen stuff for him, and we do equity share anyways. And there's some benefits to having a separate entity for that one particular business, because we have such a network of sites, all from that same business. I don't know if that makes sense, but what I'm saying is, I've got things underneath my main corporate marketing account that are in like the home services industry, a lot of different sites like that. And I think for the larger sites, the larger projects that I work on that cover multiple sites, that should almost be its own entity for accounting purposes. There's a lot of benefits to having it like that. But again, that's going to be a little bit more red tape on your part. It's not hard to do though, guys. LLCs are easy to set up, so. So yeah, that's how I would do it. I don't see anything else left to answer in that question. That was a pretty intense question. All right, Greg says, Holly just joined your IFTTT training this week, okay, and have to say that must be high. It's probably auto-corrected or something. Just joined your IFTTT training this week and have to say it's one of the most organized courses I've ever seen, and I've seen many of the years. Good job. +1 that. Thanks, Greg.
Boom.
Appreciate that. Kevin says, hey guys, have a few questions about setting up networks. Do we only use one USA proxy per network per business? Which accounts absolutely need to be phone verified? And if any ever need to be re-verified, does the number need to work to receive re-verify messages, or do I need to paste the phone numbers to re-verify? What's the best way to manage a client not being able to sign into an account to bind their IP, or client signs in from multiple different IPs? Thanks as always. Okay, couple questions. One USA per proxy per network per business. No, you don't have to do that, man, because you'd need a lot of unique proxies then. You only need one proxy. You don't need to use any proxies if you're only creating a handful of accounts, guys. Like for example, the Get It Done network that I created for the IFTTT V2 training, I created that under my own IP. I showed how to use proxies because I don't build a whole lot of networks anymore. I have VAs that do that for me. However, if I was building a bunch of networks, I would definitely be using proxies. I just don't need them because I don't build them very often anymore. So, if I build one network every 3 months, then I can create it under my own IP. It's not an issue. So Kevin, if you're building a bunch of networks, let's say that you just had 5 proxies, dedicated proxies. Then on Monday you build network with proxy 1, Tuesday proxy 2, all the way through. When you get to the following Monday, you go back to proxy 1 again. Does that make sense? So you're just cycling through. So it doesn't matter. Like you can actually, we've tested this, but you can create 2 accounts. You can probably create more, but it will start to force the phone verification when you create the account. You can get away with creating 2 accounts per IP in a 24-hour period. Okay, so if you've only got like 2 or 3 IPs or proxies, just spread them out. Use it for 24 hours. Create 1 or 2 account sets, and then switch to another proxy. And then in 24 hours or more, so let's say you wait 2 days, you can go back and use that first IP again. Does that make sense? All right. As far as the phone numbers, what we do is when we create the accounts, we take the phone number and copy it and paste it into the spreadsheet, our account workbook. Okay. Then if we go to sign in the account and Google re-verify or triggers the re-verification, which happens, excuse me, from time to time, most of the time all it's going to ask you to do is paste the number in that was used when you created the account. So you can just copy that phone number out of your spreadsheet, paste it in, and it'll unlock your account. The other thing that you can do is create the page login, which is what I recommend, and that's why it's part of the process of the IFTTT when we create the accounts and everything, is to create a Google page login. But guys, by the way, all these sign-in issues we're talking about pretty much are exclusive to Google. Like I don't have sign-in issues with any of the other accounts. It's just Google that this happens. So just keep that in mind. So when I'm talking about a page login, I'm talking about creating a Google Plus page login and logging in and doing everything through that, because that doesn't trigger phone verification. If you have the page login details, you won't get verification issues. But you do get verification issues if you try to log into a profile, which is a main Google account, from a foreign IP. And what I mean by foreign is I mean unrecognized, an unrecognized IP. Okay. So also sometimes if it triggers a re-verification and it doesn't give you the option to paste the phone number in that you used when you created the account, then it will ask you to put a new phone number in and verify that you're human. So, and it'll be a text message. And just so you guys know, we've been having trouble recently, even in with our Philippines VAs, being able to phone verify accounts using SIM cards. So, and I know that other people have had issues with like call fire numbers not working anymore. I know burner numbers are still working for Google, but that's probably those days are numbered probably as well. They're getting much better at being able to determine whether they're burner phone numbers or throwaway phone numbers or not, guys. So just keep that in mind. I actually started buying phone verified Gmail accounts now, and that's what our VAs are actually using now as well, because we're having difficulty phone verifying Google accounts the way that we had been. So you can always buy phone verified accounts as well, is what I'm saying. All right. And the provider that I'm using for that is listed in the IFTTT SEO Academy training, so you can buy them from him. Hump Day Inception, I love that. Okay, DC Glenn. Oh, this is tag team back again. Whoop, there it is. All right, cool. What is the latest anchor text rules when it comes to building web pages? If too broad a question, what not to do when building anchor text? Just don't hammer away on exact match anchors mainly. Stick with mainly brand and URL anchors. What else you want to say? Longer phrases. Use questions, and questions are great for anchor text right now because that triggers the mobile and the rank brain and hummingbird. That tickles, right, Marco? It tickles those parts of the algorithm.
It's the Google tickle, man.
The Google tickle.
There's also a great tool that I'm gonna paste on the event page that it's called Title Generator, which I have been using for some of them make sense. I mean, you just put a keyword, whether it is a noun or a verb, in them in a box, and it will generate a ton of titles that you can use to actually use them as titles, but use them as anchors as well.
Yeah.
From inside within your posts, whether linking internally or externally. It's a great tool. It's free. It's super simple. Some of the titles do make sense. Some of they don't. But I think it's a great tool to generate those long anchors that we wanna use to to have like a more natural anchor text inside.
Yeah, and that's a great point. The other thing is, guys, one of my favorite tools of all times ever is Power Suggest Pro, and this is a great tool too. Stick your keyword in there. Have a handful of keywords. I'm sure you already have those anyways. Use Google. You can actually use Yahoo and Amazon and Bing and everything else as well. YouTube if you want. Doesn't matter. My point is post your keyword in there. And then hit, go, search, whatever, and then it'll spit out a long list of suggested phrases from any one of the search engines that you, select over here. And those will give you great ideas for anchor text too, because they'll be very diverse, and it's stuff that people actually type in and search for. So those are great keywords to use. Okay, you don't have to just stick with Google either. You can get other ideas, because we're talking about just for generating anchor text, right? Keep it diverse, but it'll still have your keyword in it, so it'll be these are great terms for anchor text, guys. Okay, that's Adam yelling at me again in the Slack chat. What are the anchor text rules regarding citation descriptions? I don't know what you mean by that. Anchor text rules regarding citation descriptions. If you just mean like, what is your keyword rules regarding citation, like how look, with citation descriptions, I try to give it a compelling, consider it like a call to action, because most citation descriptions, guys, are going to be very limited in how much you can put in there. A lot of times they're very short descriptions. They won't allow you more than 500 characters, and even that sometimes, that's a lot. Sometimes it's 200, 300 characters, something like that. So usually when I'm doing citation descriptions, and I hope this is what you're asking about, DC, because maybe I'm just misinterpreting the question, but usually the citation descriptions are very little, so they don't offer a lot of room. And most of the time, obviously, I'm purchasing them from a citation building service like Loganix or Marketer Center, and they will give you a little text area that you put in the short business description, and that's what's going to be used anyways. As far as that, I usually just try to get the main keywords into the citation description, so whatever the main service is or product that I'm selling, most of the stuff I do is for service. So tree service, for example, will say offering residential and commercial tree trimming and removal services in the blah 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 area and surrounding areas or whatever. So you get the keyword in there, the service keyword, the location keyword. That's all I usually do. It's very short. It'll say call for an estimate or whatever. Very short, compelling call to action, but it has the keywords in there. Just don't stuff it. You don't need to. The other thing, though, keep in mind, this is a question that comes up often when people say, well, how do you get to rank in the maps pack for your secondary keywords? If you're ranking for the keywords that your primary keywords, how do you rank for your secondary keywords? Well, that's how you do it. That's one way, guys, that you do it also, is build additional citations on other directories, right? You're going to have your core citation directory that you want your business in. That in the business description, you're going to want to put the main keywords, your primary keywords. But when you get done, you want to go after the secondary directories, hyperlocal directories, things like that, where you put in the secondary keywords in the business description. So that's going to start to build that other relevancy to that listing, and that will help you to start to rank. That and other things that you can do will help you to rank for other keywords in maps, as well as you can also do that same process to rank in other maps areas. That's a little bit more advanced, and we talk about that inside the MasterMind. So hopefully that makes sense, DC Glenn. As far as anchor text, there is no anchor text that I know of in citation descriptions, so I'm not sure what you meant by that, other than I'm just assuming you mean keyword density, essentially. What shortener would you recommend in lieu of? For what, Clint? I'm not sure what you mean. I guess he means
in lieu of Bitly.
In lieu of Bitly? I don't know. We use Google for a bunch of shit, but there's a ton of link shorteners.
In fact, I pasted a link that has 25 or something URL shorteners. Some of them are 301, some of them are 302, and it's nice resources that you can tinker with. So
here's another one too. This is URL shorteners that allow 301 redirects. And here's a bunch of lists right here. You guys see this?
Yeah. Just be careful with geo.gl. You know,
Yeah.
we're using them, but yeah, not to spam directly. I mean, we have had some issues by doing that, but anyways.
301 link shorteners. Yeah, I mean, I use Google Links very strategically. Like I want Google to know what I'm doing with those. So I don't use them for pure spam campaigns, but I do use them for a lot of other things. Okay, we got 5 more minutes. Adam was trying to get us out of here early.
It's gonna rage quit.
Josh Bailey says, having trouble with the recipe for YouTube video views that you were using, Bradley, on Crowdsearch. Maybe it was a user error. Does it still work for you? That recipe for YouTube video views that you were using, Bradley, on Crowdsearch. I don't know what you mean. Sometimes the Crowdsearch clicks don't register as views, but that's not the point. Like, honestly, it's really not the point, guys. The point is to show, if you're talking about the referral traffic, it's the referral traffic that you're trying. When somebody clicks onto the YouTube video link, whether it registers or a view, it doesn't matter, because YouTube is aware that there was a visitor that watched the video, and they know where they came from because they know what the referrer was, right? And so with the referral traffic, I'm assuming this is what you mean, because I know sometimes your campaign will run and you'll go back and you won't see your view count going up, but it doesn't matter, especially, and that's why I use the goo.gl short links as my last hop to the video, so that I can go look at the analytics, the click analytics on that short URL inside of goo.gl, and I can see the clicks being delivered to the YouTube video, and it will show the referrer, the browser that they were using, where they're located, all of that. And that's what's, as long as YouTube is seeing that data, which they are, you're still getting the benefit. Whether the view registers or not, it doesn't make a difference. Does that make sense? Hopefully that's clear. And I hope that's what you were asking for, because, yeah, I still use the campaigns all the time, and the view count doesn't go up, but it doesn't matter. My videos see improvement in ranking because of it. Sky says, when using Authority Sniper, would you avoid RSS feeds such as the Huffington Post? Well, it depends, Sky. You know, if you can get a category post that would be on, you know, aligned with the topic, then it wouldn't be such a bad idea. But you certainly don't want to go with their broad, because it was just, there's too many damn topics.
Yep.
It would be unrelated.
Hi, Nate.
What?
Hi, Nate. I was saying
Yeah,
hi to Nate.
You can also, Sky, but you can do something like feed rinse. If you go to feedrinse.com, you should be able to create. We are currently working. I don't know if you can still get into it or not, but if you have a FeedRinse account, you can. You should be able to go in and create a filter that will only allow certain posts. It'll generate a custom feed from Huffington Post that will only allow certain posts to pass that contain a hashtag or a keyword or whatever it is that you set up. A tag, a specific tag, whatever. Okay. Okay, Bradley, in one of the earlier Hump Day, I know we got to go. We got 2 minutes, guys. In one of the earlier Hump Day Hangouts, you recommend a WordPress theme that may be good for affiliate websites. Can you give your affiliate link to that WordPress theme? Thank you. Don't know which one you're talking about, Ganty. Sorry.
Yeah, Ganty, if you leave it on the page, type it in here, we'll get back to you on the page afterwards. Just let us know what it is.
Probably the one that I was talking about was, because I always use ink themes, guys. I have been for years. However, I really like Thrive's themes now. Like the whole Thrive plugins and theme suite is really, really good. But ink themes, they have one in here that's it's an affiliate, like a review, product review type site. And it's not bad. I just like ink themes because I've been using them forever. So you can check that one out. That's probably the one I was talking about. I'm in MasterMind. What else do you get? What else do you need, right? That's right. Anything else, guys? I know we got to go. So it looks like we're just about done. All right, sweet. We're done.
Yep. We're done.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, thanks for everybody being here in our experiment with Facebook Live as I look directly into the mobile phone. I don't know how that came out. We're gonna go back and review it, and we'll see what it's like for next week. We'll get it, make it better for next week. So, thanks everybody for being here.
See you guys.
See you.
Bye, everyone.